There's probably mistakes. This is a big, big report. But the overwhelming evidence, it seems to me, is that our elected leaders have taken a county, increased its debt incredibly, and didn't tell us about it. And here's something else I want to say. I believe that over $250 million of real expense of operating this county in the last 20 years has never been reported. Let me give you just one example. Now, according to what that GASB, the Government Accounting Standards Board statement is, the true expense every year has to include the full expense that year of what needed to be paid in order to fund pensions, say. Okay? If an unfunded pension liability develops, there's really two things that can have happened. They didn't put in enough money in the first place, or they didn't earn the money that they said they were going to earn.
Right.
Those are the two things.
Right.
In either case, if they didn't earn the money that they said they were going to earn, it is unavoidable that the expense was higher than was reported.
Yes.
They didn't do their job. The expense is higher. Okay, now get this. They borrowed $110 million in pension obligation bonds, right? That is an admission. They got the court to agree that that was a true debt that had already been earned by the employees. When do you suppose that expense, that retirement pension expense, is being reported by the county? Over the 25 years that they're going to take to pay the bonds.
As advertised.
They're reporting what they did in the accounting is when they borrowed that net $110 million, that day they wrote down the net worth of the county by $110 million.
Yes.
We're getting kind of technical here about the money. What they're slowly doing is they're going to add to each year's pension expense of the staff that is working that year an amount of money necessary to pay off the pension bond and act as though that's an expense of that staff.
Yes.
It's not an expense of that staff. It's an expense of a staff 20 years ago, but they're not telling us that.
Well, hopefully we can get to the bottom of this issue. It's about time to wrap it up. John, is there anything else you want to add to this as we go here?
We have 1 minute left, John. Everything that you say, I believe, is 100% of the truth. You kind of said that you kind of gave yourself shrift here in your report that there may be some inaccuracies. I'm saying if you got most of this data from the state, from the state controller's office, it's probably the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I believe you. I believe that we have great cause for concern. What can our listeners do today to enjoin the fight, if you will, for solvency in our county government? What can they do? And transparency. What can they do right now?
Well, if they hear this before the election, vote for supervisors in the 1st and 2nd district who are going to take this problem seriously, deal with it, and tell you the truth. And I would suggest that in at least one case, you have an experience of a supervisor for the last 12 years who hasn't done that.
All right, and we can't name any names because it's public radio, yeah. But listeners can draw their own conclusions.
Secondly, come to my website. I'd love to see that little visitors.
That is yourpublicmoney.com.
Your Public Money, Y-O-U-R, Public Money.
And people can respond there and send you.
You can send me emails. I'm going to have
great or horrible or whatever.
People can start to have conversations about some of these issues.
So you can have a blog on your website
where people can begin to have
and people don't have to identify themselves. If they think you're full of bull, they can just say, John, you and that other guy, Sakowitz, are full of bull.
Speaking of which, it's time to wrap, John. Thanks for listening to Truth About Money. Jay Johnson, John Sakowitz, our special guest, John Dickerson.
I'm full of anger is what I'm full of.